People make fun of my weird little tool all the time. On it are 2 female XT60s and 2 male XT60s, as well as a voltage sensor. Now, what in the world could this thing possibly be used for? Well, it turns out a lot. The first is obviously you can use it to check your lipos. So instead of one of these traditional lipo checkers, which take forever to use, you have to plug it in, you have to wait, it beeps at you, finally voltage. Took me like 5 seconds to get the voltage out of it. Instead, you take this thing, I hold it in one hand, I grab the battery leads with the other, and I plug it in and I've instantly got the voltage. Now, that makes things really easy when, say, you have a bunch of packs that you need to check. You can just come down the line and go, do 15, do 15, do 15, do 15. Okay, these 4 can go on the para board. Next. Another thing that I use this for is to keep track of voltage of tools. So, for example, if I've got my portable soldering iron here, I can take the LiPo, plug it into one end, take the cable for the soldering iron, plug it into another, and then hook the whole thing up to the iron itself, and you can get, you know, a reading of the voltage left in the battery, just, you know, because it has a voltage meter on it. You can keep track and make sure that you're not overdrawing it. The same principle applies to, for example, my little USB phone charger thing. So if I wanted to charge my phone with this, I can also monitor the battery voltage, you know, just because there's all sorts of different kinds of connections. You know, while it may be a little bit ugly and a little bit silly looking, I've continually found more and more uses for this thing. Another example of a use that I had was that I had, for example, I overdrew a battery once, and when you overdraw a battery, it starts to drop really, really low, and you can see it continues to drop in voltage. All I had to do was plug it into one end and then plug the other in, and just for a second let it jump the voltage up high enough to get it on the charger and save the battery. So, what is this? Well, on the bottom here is actually just an Atmospheric Adventures PDB. You can probably use just about any PDB, and then I just directly soldered these XT60s onto it. For this voltage sensor, of which I have a number, I use them on different things around my workbench. I'll post a link in the description below. So, it's just a silly little tool. It looks really, really funny, but I keep this in my pocket while I'm flying because there are so many uses for something like this.